Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really diving into some very intense developments, high-stakes stuff.
Absolutely. We're talking about the alleged military strikes on Iranian targets.
Right. And this feels like more than just another headline. Sources are calling it Operation Midnight Hammer. Sounds serious.
It does. The ripples are already being felt across the Middle East.
So our mission today is to help you get a quick handle on this. It's critical, but we don't want you feeling overwhelmed.
We'll unpack the intelligence, the immediate fallout, and, well, what it might mean going forward.
Okay, let's get into it. The initial reports suggested former President Trump ordered new military strikes. Iranian targets.
And Iran's reaction. Swift and pretty fierce, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Their foreign ministry called it a heinous act of aggression. Strong words.
Very strong. Warnings of dangerous, far-reaching, and even unprecedented consequences.
That language definitely echoes past tensions. It feels calibrated but firm. They're drawing a line.
A red line, yeah. Especially concerning their sovereign territory or, key strategic sites. Crossing that seems to invite a much tougher response now.
So what about the specifics of the U.S. operation itself? What do we know?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. U.S. officials reportedly confirmed strikes on key nuclear facilities.
Key facilities? Like which ones?
The names mentioned are Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. These aren't minor sites.
No, they're central to their program and the method.
That's telling, too. Bunker buster bombs, designed for hardened, buried targets. Think Fordow, built into a mountain.
Right, and cruise missiles, too.
And cruise missiles. Precision stuff. The stated aim seems pretty clear. Degrade Iran's uranium enrichment capabilities, hit them where it hurts, programmatically speaking.
Okay, so a major operation targeting core nuclear sites.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting based on our sources.
What's that?
The immediate impact assessment. Despite reports of severe damage, the early intel suggests, well, it might only be a temporary setback.
Temporary. How temporary?
Yeah. Just a few months, according to some U.S. defense sources, which is kind of astonishing, isn't it, given the scale we're talking about?
It really is. It raises huge questions about the actual long-term effectiveness of such strikes. Maybe the program is more resilient than thought.
That seems to be the implication. And perhaps that limited impact fueled Iran's immediate response.
It could have. I mean, within hours, state media and officials were threatening retaliation. Loudly.
Though importantly, no immediate attacks on U.S. bases followed, right?
Not immediately, no. But Ayatollah Khamenei himself made a statement. He said any attack on nuclear sites would be met with a response.
And he added something significant.
Yes, possibly beyond the region. That's not just rhetoric, it suggests asymmetrical warfare, hitting allies, things far from Iran itself.
So bringing this to the bigger picture, U.S. military sources are warning about potential counterstrikes.
They are, specifically mentioning American bases in Qatar, Iraq, or Syria as potential targets. They seem quite concerned.
And this links to something about readiness. I read about missile interceptors.
Exactly. This is crucial. The Pentagon apparently reported it only holds about 25% of the Patriot missile interceptors needed if this really blows up.
25%. That sounds low.
It does. It raises serious questions about the U.S. ability to defend its assets, its people in the region. And, how does that vulnerability play into Iran's calculations?
Right. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening and for the world stage?
Well, the sources paint a pretty stark picture. This could genuinely trigger a major U.S.-Iran escalation.
Which risks a broader regional war.
Extremely. And given everything we've just unpacked, the intelligence, the threats, the potential consequences, it leaves us with a really compelling question for you to think about.
What's that?
Is this whole operation another massive gamble? Or is it actually a calculated risk? Maybe one designed to force Iran back to the negotiating table over its nuclear program.
A lot to think about indeed. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into what's clearly a rapidly moving situation.
Keep exploring, keep questioning.
We encourage you to do just that. See you next time.